Hey everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It's Monday night, and this is Twisted Stitches, and I am here tonight with Jessica Ays and everybody from the retreat last year because I can't get rid of the screen that was up, and I am waiting for Paul to arrive, but we're doing fine. Hey, Jillian and Marianne, Mary Summers, how are you both? Jillian, I hope you are feeling better. Hi, Beth Ann. Oh my goodness, they're streaming in, Jessica. They're coming in. Lila Foster. Hello, my yarny friends. Darren from Cape Cod is with us. Darren, thank you for sending me those great pics of those tote bags. Michelle Mingo Lewis and Kristen Parkhurst, Donna Nahalo. Oh my goodness, I can't keep up. Now I know how Paul feels. Nancy Robertson's here, and Rita Johnson Cotterman, Pamela Rose. Debbie Andretta from Central Pennsylvania. Lorraine Schiller is with us. Nancy Parks, Robbie McCarthy, and Kim Kurtzetter. Yay, I did them all. My head looks Paul's coming in. Yay, he's going to get rid of the screen here. I have two screens here, and everything's going on at once. But we are, and the kids are so happy to see Paul. Hi, Chantel from Ontario, Canada. I do believe that's a new name. Welcome, Chantel. And Gloria Hamelthes is here. And Chris DeCibio from Kentucky. We love Jessica. Must be somebody you know, Jessica.
It is. Yes.
Thank
I'm
you
so happy to see familiar names and icons. I was going to say faces, but we've got icons. And I sprouted a tail.
I sprouted a tail too, but that's okay.
My kitty cat June says hi.
Oh my
goodness. And now we're going to say bye.
Now he says bye. I want no background. I want my shop to show up in the background. Watch. Here comes the wizard.
Hi, Paul.
The hero always arrives in the ta-da nick of time.
You see how he does this now. Let's see what he does. Yeah.
Minimize that.
Nancy, my cat does not seem to notice other animals except for birds. She loves watching birds.
Oh, does she? On TV?
Not on TV, but we call it cat TV. We open the blinds and she's got a pillow on the back of the couch and she loves to sit and watch the birds and squirrels, but dogs she doesn't seem to care about. Maybe she doesn't know she should care.
Doesn't matter. Oh, Lila Foster's. Hi, Paul. Jessica, your cat is your cat unnerved by the barking? She didn't seem to be at all.
No. She would stay here and drool on my lap if I let her.
So Nancy McLean is here with us too. Hi, Jeannie, Donna Masung, and Lila Foster. Oriana Christina Bruno, Paul.
Oriana Christina Bruno.
Just in time.
Yep, just in time. Okay, Paul, not much we can do about that. Once he's here, he's here. Julie Benslow Jackson is with us, and Doris Caldwell is here. So let's get this party started. What have you been up to, my dear friend?
I have been up to a lot. I had thought that it would be a nice and calm and relaxing summer because, it's not sweater weather yet. It's not really knitting season yet, but I have been so busy in the background doing all kinds of fun things. I just finished doing a cable knitting class that I taught online, and I am gearing up to do to release this shawl pattern that I'm wearing that you can't really see.
There you go.
So it has this pretty lace and lots of nice soothing stockinette stitches, and I know that Paulette has some beautiful yarns picked out for that, and I'm hosting a fun free knit along for this pattern, and we're going to kick things off on Thursday, and it'll be on Zoom, and everyone's invited to just come hang out and knit together. And I'll teach you the stitches in case you don't know them, but they're really pretty simple. It's one of my favorite ways to combine different stitch textures. Simple lace, I think, can be, just enough to keep you interested and intrigued, and then some nice soothing stockinette stitch and a shawl that grows as small or as big as you like, because it has a nice simple 4-row repeat, and 2 of those rows are knit the edge stitches and purl straight across.
We love that stockinette when we have that purl straight across, right?
Yes, that resting row, that little bit of break from having to think. Just knit 3, purl to the end, and knit 3 more.
So let's see if you can show us that shawl. Can you give us a better a better view of it? I see you're so brave wearing it because I get so warm.
The air conditioner is on. I love you all, but not that much.
Right?
So it starts out with just a few stitches just at the very point, and then it slowly and gradually increases until we have a nice section of lace. So just a lace border. And then it just keeps growing in we're just adding one stitch on every right side row at the end. And so it increases in all directions. That was a question that someone had asked, was, what is the rate of increase? And so we're increasing the one extra stitch going in one direction. And then we're increasing the length of it too. But because it's only 4 rows, you had a question, ask your question.
So, I know what Paul's always saying to me, once you get started talking, you don't take a breath for anybody to be able to ask anything. When it's increasing, is it increasing both in the lace section and in the stockinette section?
No, the lace stays. That's the full width of the lace. Once we build up enough stitches to have that full width, then it stays as repeats of the lace. And then it just increases.
I see.
In that way.
Got it.
And the nice thing about it is that you can really customize the size of the shawl because of it's being just a 4-row repeat. You can, whatever, if you have 400 yards, if you have 600 yards, 800 yards, you can just knit until you're ready to move on to your next project.
Got it. So,
or you run out of yarn.
Yes. So this is designed for a fingering weight.
Yes.
Okay. So there were a couple of yarns that I picked out based on the name of the shawl. The sea glass made me think, and I don't know what I see the color that you knitted yours in. When I think of sea glass, I think of the pretty blues and greens, but the pattern would look pretty in any color.
It would, yeah.
Look really beautiful in any color. So a couple of things that we talked about was the watercolor sock.
Yes.
This is a gradient. Oh, Paul, you know what? Never mind. I'll go grab it.
Okay.
Grab it. Probably easier for me to get it than to try to explain to you where it is. Right?
That's usually how it goes.
So, watercolor sock
Mm-hmm.
is a gradient
Come here, Tucker. Come here, boy.
sock yarn. So that when you knit this pattern using this yarn, you'll see how you're going to get that movement of the colors throughout. So it's going to not really be striped, but more fade.
Yeah, I love the way that they dyed that yarn because it's a gentle change from colors. It's not a sharp, here's color A, and now we're all of a sudden going to switch to, to color B.
Now, something else to think about what I'll do is I'll put some kits up for this so that you can see them. But if you're using watercolor sock, you've got to keep in mind also that there are 2 socks on this spool. So at one point you're going to find, and you're knitting a white line.
Okay.
So you'll have to break your yarn there. It's just to let you know that that's where one sock would end if you were knitting socks, and where the second one would begin. So
that's so interesting.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So you're going to get that gradation all throughout. And this takes 1 skein, right?
That was knit with just over 400 yards.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Yeah. So this one is 420 meters. So you get 458 yards on watercolor sock.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Really cool was, I don't know if you saw this one, this infinity.
I haven't seen that one.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It
That's definitely stripes. So let me grab that, get that on the screen so people can see.
That is so pretty.
Yep, there you're going to have more definite striping in that one. This yarn just came in recently. It's by the same company. It's by Lane de Nord as well. But look at this color. So a lot of pretty colors in this. It looks like a bunch of sea glass. When you see all the sea glass on the beach?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So that's another yarn that I thought of. And you had mentioned art yarns. And when I heard that, I thought of this one.
Oh, I love that, Paulette. That is so pretty.
So this one is called Sierra Bloom. And that is just a pretty, pretty color, I think, for that shawl as well. And then there's Rainbow Mountain in art yarns as well. And then you can always use a solid if you wanted to. Any fingering weight solid or tonal, the Huasco hand painted, the Huasco kettle dyes, any of those would work beautifully for something like that. And you love these one skein projects, you know, it's like one and done. You get it on your needles, you get it off your needles, and you're on to the next thing. So
yeah, and I love because you're just increasing by one stitch at a time. I was even thinking that this would be pretty in like a sport weight or a DK. Like you could, even if you wanted a heavier shawl, you can just keep knitting until it's reached whatever size that is your preference
right.
and just end it there. So that changes your, yardage requirements and all of that. But it's just another, thought. The idea of taking a pattern, even if it's written for fingering, if it's a shawl where you're not worried about sizing as much as, say, a garment. You can't easily switch a garment from, say, a fingering weight yarn to another weight yarn.
Correct. That's
if you fall in love with a color of yarn for a shawl, have at it. I think be creative and make it your own.
Right, right. When customers come in and they want to knit a sweater and they have no direction, they don't know what I said, well, either find a yarn or find a pattern. We need to have a starting point. But when you're doing something like this, it's just like the descent cowl. When I knitted the descent cowl, DK weight, and then I knitted it in worsted weight, I used exactly the same instructions, just changed the needle size.
Yeah.
And what a huge difference, literally huge difference.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
just as pretty, but looks totally different. And it's very big. To me, it feels more like a little shawl because you can wrap it around your neck as opposed to just a cowl that's, that sits around your neck. So it's pretty cool when you do things like that.
Yeah, and I've always lived kind of near the water. I grew up in Brooklyn, not far from the pier, so I grew up, with that being part of my life. I went to college in Rhode Island. I went to URI, and so Narragansett is one of my favorite places. I'm sure that a lot of your audience, knows that little teeny tiny spot on the map. And then I came home and I moved to Long Beach, which is literally on the beach on Long Island, and now I live about 20 minutes or so from there. But so lived in with my best friend after college in a condo facing the water, and so it's always kind of been part of my life. And so I love to draw inspiration from the water, from the ocean, from nature in that way, and not derivative exactly, but just that thought, that inspiration in my mind as I design.
Very nice, very nice. Now you've got some other new designs coming out too. Tell us about those. Do you have those with you?
I do. I have my pile of knitting.
Oh, good. Pile of knitting. Hi, Rosemary from Tennessee.
So I have a collection of 3 patterns that I'm going to be releasing, and they are brioche patterns, which
I get high
can be scary, can be a little bit scary. And so I started off the collection with designing an ear warmer, and it's if I go this way, maybe you could see the whole thing. And so the nice thing about brioche is that you can see my ends that I didn't weave in.
Okay, we're not, it's not a contest.
So the colors change, and so it's reversible in that way, where your main color and your background color kind of switch. And so when I was designing the brioche patterns, I wanted to create something that would give people a quick win if they had never tried brioche, because a lot of beginner brioche projects start with, cast on all of these stitches for this giant loop and then knit brioche and pray that you don't drop a stitch or make a mistake.
Right.
Because then that is a nightmare in my experiences with, brioche. A lot of times the yarn shops end up with an SOS pile in the corner, an emergency room, a triage pile. because it's hard to get it right the first time, and so a lot of shops end up having to fix the mistakes,
Right, right,
get people back on track. And so the way that I designed this one, and also the cowl, is that there's a ridge in there. There's 2 of them where you are just knitting. You knit 1 row, you purl 1 row, you knit 1 row. So it's like a safety net to kind of catch you, so that if your stitch unravels, you can go back to that point and you haven't lost that much ground. You have a kind of a safe point to return to, and then you can start over with setting the brioche stitches up at that
right.
point.
So it's kind of like you're like a knitted lifeline.
Like a knitted lifeline, yeah.
Because
And
when I was taught brioche, they said, lifelines are your friends, because if you have to cut back or take back, at least you can do it that, you can go back to your lifeline. But I agree that that's a great idea. Leslie Tui Weiss says that's a wonderful idea, and I agree.
thank you,
Um,
yeah.
that
And I
have
also
that.
had it cast on with, just a regular long tail cast on, or whatever cast on you prefer, and just a rolled edge, so that you can just start learning brioche. You don't have to first learn the Italian 2-color cast on, or cast on, long tail with 2 colors. You don't have to do a fancy cast on. You can just cast on like you always have, and then start the brioche. So kind of baby steps, I think, was what I, was intending to kind of guide you through a little bit of the brioche.
Cool, cool. And so you
And
have so the ear warmer is part of the class, and then you have some other patterns that go along with it.
I do. So I have a cowl that matches.
Uh-huh.
So that goes, so it has the same idea. So you start at the top, and then it can be folded over.
Yep. Very
And so it has that same idea. So it's a little bit longer sections, because hopefully we've done the ear warmer. We're getting comfortable. We're warming up to brioche. We're not terrified of it anymore. And then I have those built in, kind of lifeline sections. So
cool.
if you make a mistake, you can, in say this section, you can just rip back to here
Right.
and get back on track. And you've got not just 1 row, but 3 rows in there, so that you can easily, um, rip back without so much fear.
Yep. Yep. So Robbie McCarthy says the ear warmer sounds like a great first brioche project.
Thank you.
And so when is your brioche class?
So I ran it over the summer, and I did it as I think we did 7 weeks of lessons, and so it was 1 lesson a week. I've done a lot of instructors do, let's hop on Zoom together or in person, and I'll tell you everything I know about this topic in 90 minutes. And then something like brioche feels like just too heavy, I think, right now. And it was the summer. And so people want to be gardening. They want to be at the beach. They want to be, enjoying themselves. And so it was a smaller commitment to have, a little bit of lessons each week and have time to practice in between, so that you can rip out and not worry about, oh, I'm not going to be ready for the class, the next day. And so
Right.
building in that time, and people take a lot of vacations. And so the class, will be available, if anyone wants to purchase it or to learn through you, if you teach brioche. I don't know if you do.
Not right now. Not it's not on the, I get so many requests for teaching too. It's people come in all the time and they say, "Do you give lessons?" Well, yeah, but what do you want to get? What do you want to learn? It's
Yeah.
to a certain extent as an instructor. And I have Michelle Mingo Lewis does the classes here for us, and she's fantastic. But
Yeah, I heard she ran a great cable class. I heard
yeah.
Kristen Parkhurst said that Michelle was wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you, Kristen, for sharing that with Jessica as well. We did our summer knit camp, and that was 8 or 9 weeks of different stitches every week, and so and you had a chance to practice in between. But as a yarn shop owner and as an instructor, you're pretty much trying to think for other people.
Mhm.
And you might put out a brioche class 1 month and nobody comes to it and they go, well, when are you doing a sock class? So there's always something, and you can
Yeah.
have classes every day of the week if you want it, you know.
Yeah. That's
Does it?
one of my favorite things about knitting is that there is so much to learn,
Yep.
that you can be a lifelong learner. You can always there's always if it's not a new and different technique, maybe it's a twist on something, a different way of doing something that I've been doing it this way for, however many years, and then suddenly you learn, something else. It's like your eyes are open to a new way, a new method.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just looking at this comment. So Jackie Vandenberg says she's making your local yarn shop love shawl with Jody Long's yarn right now. So that's great.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
What color are you using, Jackie?
She's asking what color, Jackie. So tell me what color you've got there. Yeah, we had a few of those. So go through the order forms during that time. That was a great pattern, and we still have ours. We knitted ours. You know that we knitted it in a summer yarn,
Yeah,
in Summer Delight, and that was sweet. Really sweet here. So it gets a lot of attention in the shop.
that makes me so happy to hear. I'm so honored that you have it, displayed in the store still.
Hi, Jerry Milo saying hi from California. Welcome,
Hi,
Jerry.
Jerry.
That's a new name. So we've got a couple of new people here. Oh, that's right, Jackie Vandenberg. I should have known. I should have known. She said purple, of course. Um, let's see, what else do we have here? And Kristen says, I think Jess is an awesome teacher too. I've made many of her amazing patterns. And I'm making my 4th Brooklyn baby blanket right now for a baby shower at the end of the month. And that's great. We love featuring different designers and showing your work, and then using our yarns, and it's just a perfect blend for both of us and for all the fans out there. So yes, it's great. Uh, and here's another one. Hold on, we've got
Hi, Julie.
Julie saying she's making your boho waves, and is that a wall hang?
It's a wall hanging, yeah.
And
And so I can share about that. So I'm a city girl, we'll say. Grew up in Brooklyn, and I never knew it was a thing. And through some of my knitting friends, I learned about county fairs, and I learned that you can submit your knitting, and you can get ribbons for your knitting. And so kind of on a whim, because they extended the deadline and I happened to see the post on Facebook, so I submitted, my boho waves wall hanging and, 2 other projects to my county fair, which was the Long Island Fair, which was all of Queens County, all of, Nassau County, and all of Suffolk County. And so I submitted 3 things, and I got 2 blue ribbons. The boho waves was one of them, and 1, white, which was the 3rd place. So
yeah, that's
I'm
great.
feeling kind of, vindicated on my knitting.
And have you entered things since then?
This was, just this past weekend.
Oh, well,
So,
congratulations.
yeah, I'm, coming
Fantastic.
off that high of, so it was a scarf and a shawl and a wall hanging were the categories, and so I
Wow,
was very excited about that, so.
good for you. Well, that's wonderful. So that was the first time you've ever done something like that.
That was the first time I've ever gone to a county fair, the first time I've ever submitted anything. I didn't even know it was a thing a couple months ago.
I didn't I will share with you that I have until I moved up here to Connecticut, I had
Uh-huh.
no idea about county fairs. We had the
Yeah.
carnival that came to town, and we had the Jersey Shore. I mean, who needed a county fair when you had the Jersey Shore?
Right, yeah.
We just hopped in the car and went down there and had a good old time. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, the county fairs are a big thing. And it's wonderful that you've done that. And we have several of our fans who have entered things into the Durham Fair out here, and the what is the other fair, Paul, that we did? Oh, I can't even think of all of them. There's so many county fairs for every county that
Yeah.
it's just amazing. So good for you, and good for all of you who are wanting to submit your work, and then who are recognized for it. Donna Hollow and Jillian Goldrich, and I don't know if there's anybody else. So please share with us if you have ever entered your work into a competition like that. And I'm sure that it's wonderful. So Nancy Parks is saying that just reminded her that she knitted a hat in 4-H for the country fair back in the dark
The
ages.
dark
Well, you know what? The dark ages are a good thing. They're a good way to get us all started on different things.
Yeah.
So, well, that's wonderful. So, what else do you have in the works, Jessica? What
So
else do you have?
the brioche is 3 patterns, a collection of 3, and there is a hat. We got a little bit more complicated with the hat.
Ooh, ooh.
And so we did some increases and some decreases. And one of my favorite ways when I am designing something that has a complicated technique is to introduce it in the very beginning. So right here, we cast on, we work a couple setup rows, and then right here we learn to decrease, and I'm going the wrong way, increase.
That's okay.
We're
It's hard for
backwards.
the camera, right?
That was a fun thing to design and a little bit more challenging for those who are already accomplished at basic brioche or have, gone through the ear warmer and the cowl and they're ready for that next step. So I wanted to add something a little bit more um, for our more seasoned makers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great, wonderful. And so now, forgive me because I'm new to this whole designer thing, just having my, the brick and mortar for a year here and getting to meet
Yeah.
and learn all the. So, do you design sweaters as well, or are you mostly cowls and shawls? Or tell us.
So I actually have my first sweater design on my needles.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be a top-down sweater with some lace on the yoke, and I am knitting the sea of stockinette for the body right now.
Got it. The
But it's
document.
basically designed, and it will probably either be released, ready for purchase, I would say probably in January at this point, because December, everyone is busy with the holidays and gift knitting and all of those things.
Right.
And January is a really nice time to knit something for yourself, to
Cool.
cast on. You've spent all this time knitting hats for the kids or the grandkids or, whomever, and all of the hustle and the bustle of the holidays. And so it's nice. I like to release something special that can to knit for yourself, a gift for yourself
Nice.
for the holidays.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And you've got something else new that's coming up for
Um,
stitches.
yes. Well, so I have one more pattern to share, and then I'll share the other thing that we were chatting about. So this is a hat that I designed. It uses DK weight yarn, and it goes like this.
Fun. I'm
Um,
doing the same thing the hat's doing.
the thing the hat's doing. So it's all knits and purls. There's nothing complicated really about it, and it is something called sequence knitting, and what that is you start off with a stitch pattern of, in this case, a ribbing, but an odd ribbing, not just like a knit 2 purl 2. It would work with that, but this has a different sequence of stitches for the knitting. You add an extra stitch, and it takes your stitches in a spiral.
Yeah, I saw that. So by adding one stitch.
Adding 1 stitch, and so I'll show you. I'll fold down the brim so you can see that a little bit better. So we start off with the ribbing. It's been folded for a while. And then you just add 1 stitch and you continue working in the round in that same sequence of the ribbing, but that extra 1 stitch sends it twisting. So
Cool. Cool. So let me just say, oh, Anna says, love that hat. Of course you do, Anna. And Catherine King, thank you for tuning in from New Hampshire. I don't know if that's one of your peeps, Jessica. And yeah, I think we were all caught up on the comments. Gina Bates is in. Yep. Gina Bates is in the house. Yeah. So there we are. So what else you got?
So those are the patterns that I wanted to share with you all. That those are sneak peeks of what is coming up next. And the other thing that I have been getting ready to launch, and Paulette is really the first person that I've talked about this with. We were talking back and forth over email and a little bit before we signed on together here live. And I am starting something called a pattern club. And it is, in my way of thinking, it is a win-win-win, is what I was explaining to Paulette. It is a subscription where you have the option to sign up for monthly payments or annual payments to automatically get a discount on all of my patterns. So rather than, a lot of knitters chase that introductory discount code to get a pattern at, a low price. And so you wouldn't have to do that anymore. You'll automatically get whatever new pattern I am releasing that month will be delivered to you by email. And also, if you use Ravelry and you share your Ravelry name with me, it'll be sent to you as a gift so that it'll be in your Ravelry database. I know that you had a great class. It wasn't last week, but the week before that, I think, about how to use Ravelry as a yarn database for your staff. And so it's a great site, and it has all of the search features. And that's why I love to gift my patterns for my subscription products to people through Ravelry, so that when you're thinking about, I want to knit a shawl and I have this much yarn, or, this weight of yarn, or this type of stitch. So it'll be in your library so that you can access it. So you get a pattern from me every month at a discounted rate as part of what you pay for in advance. You get first access to sign up for any knit-alongs or challenges or workshops or other things, that events that I host. You'll know about everything first. You'll be the first to know when everything is happening. And it is something that I'm really excited about, a way to share my patterns with a wider audience, to make life easier for you. For the yarn shops that choose to sign up, they'll also get a commission for anyone who signs up using their link. And so it benefits the designer because I don't have, I pay less fees in this way. So it helps to support me as a designer more. It has the ability to help to support the yarn stores so that they can have, a little extra something coming in to help them. And then you as a knitter will get a discount on the pattern. So there aren't any, special Zooms or appointments or things that you need to sign up for. And I'm always there if you have questions about any of my patterns. You'll have my email address. You'll easily be able to reach out to me if you need, if a question on a pattern. You'll be, at the top of the list to get answers.
And when will this be live? When will this offer go out to your general public?
To the general public, it will go out next week.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Jackie's saying that's a great idea. Well, it's a wonderful way to have access to every pattern that Jessica is coming out with. Yep.
Yeah, it's been such an important part as I have learned to become a designer, to make sure that the quality of my patterns is the absolute best it can be, to make sure that my patterns are, I pay a professional tech editor who is truly a superhero and a math whiz to go through all of my, the instructions, to make sure not only that they are correct, that the numbers mean and say what they're supposed to say, but also that they that it makes sense, that another knitter should be able to, follow the pattern without having any trouble. And then I go that next step where I have all of my patterns knit by test knitters. And my test knitter pool, I have, I think, 70 people in my test. They don't all knit every pattern, but it gives them a break so they can raise their hand for the ones that they want to and take their time to knit the other things at other times. And it gives them that ability to try my patterns in kind of a smaller, like a knit along kind of environment with, direct contact to me. And I have test knitters from all different skill levels, because anyone can go to Ravelry and buy a pattern. There's no qualifications check with Ravelry to purchase a pattern. So it is wonderful that different skill levels look at the pattern so that I can get feedback and know what a beginner knitter is wondering about a pattern, or what a seasoned maker might pick up on and say, maybe you want to do it this way. And sometimes that test knit process, even though the pattern is technically correct, reviewed by my tech editor first, sometimes it's just changing a word or two that helps, or the order of how you explain something that makes such a big difference and makes the whole experience for the knitters even more enjoyable. And that has been kind of, that value that I hold so dear to my heart, is that I want the patterns that I design to be a good experience for knitters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that sounds like a very, very interesting venture that you are adding to your already broad offerings. And we look forward to working with you. And
Yeah.
we'll see how it all goes. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Congratulations on adding to your variety of things that you already offer and the ways that you do it. This has been a wonderful 30 minutes or so, almost. Hey, Paul, why don't you grab a name from the sharing bucket today?
No way.
Absolutely. You're sitting there. You look just a little too comfortable to me. I got to give you something to do. He's got to get up now. He's been sitting in the car for way too long. I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Kristen.
You're on screen, Paul. You were on screen. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, oh boy. So everybody, we've got so many great things coming up now. Fall is in the air. Well, it's not really in the air, it's just on the calendar. And we are ready for sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
You saw my doodle sweater. Yay.
Sweater weather.
Whitney did a great job on with that design too. I love all our designers. That one is finished and off the needles, and we've got so many great yarns coming in. Just watch for some unboxings. That is going to be happening in this week, if I can get Paul to stick around long enough to do an unboxing. Otherwise, you know what? I'll do an unboxing without him. Very interesting. Thanks, Jessica and Paulette from Nancy Robertson. Thank you for the chat from Maria Brandt. Dive in, Paul, is what Nancy Parks is saying. And thank you, Maria. Yes, the doodle sweater. I'm really happy with the way that came out. Thank you. What you got there, buddy? Should we have Tucker read it?
Oh, there was one inside of another one.
There was one inside another? Look at that. We have two winners. Oh.
And the first winner is Brenda Saul Thompson. Congratulations.
Hey, Brenda. Hi, buddy.
And there was one inside the other one. So therefore, like Monopoly, bank error in your favor, you collect. And winner number 2 is Anna Maria Milani. Yay, yay, yay.
Cool. Well, congratulations, everybody. Whitney says thank you for the love. Whitney, you didn't even know you were there. Whitney says thank you for the love. Now she has to knit another doodle. That's great. Well, everybody, I cannot tell you how much we enjoyed having you with us tonight, Jessica. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. We wish you the best of luck with all your patterns all the time, and we are happy to support you with them.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, everybody, we are going to sign off now. Let's see if I can do this. If I can get, wait a minute. I know how to do it. I know.
Minimize the videos, remember.
Oh, you minimize.
Go up.
Up.
Down. Down. Video clips. Go to right.
All right. Love you all. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Thanks, John.